Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we are talking redraft mock drafts. So we are going to go through a 10-man league. We're going to have several videos to help you guys out. We're going to go by spot to spot, meaning 101 through 110 in a single quarterback PPR league. Now, if there are other leagues you guys would like to see, other types of formats and things like that, hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to do some mock drafts in any type of format you guys are looking for to help you guys out, because we are talking redraft season. It is July. We are a month away before the first preseason game, and we are months away before NFL season starts. So I want to get you guys ready and prepared for any redraft content. I'll be doing 10-man, 12-man, and again, if you guys have other formats, let me know in the comments. I'd love to help you guys out. So we're going to jump right into this. So as you can see here, we are at the 101 spot through a 10-man league. Now, this is single quarterback, which means this isn't going to be a super flex or anything like that. Now, if there is a super flex league, your draft will look a lot different, right? You're going to go a lot of quarterback heavy in the first couple rounds before you really go after the running backs and receivers. But in this case, because it's single quarterback, you're going to see a lot of running back, a lot of wide receiver, because everyone loves the idea of having the top tier receivers, which can't do you wrong. So again, this is my idea of how this is going to play out. Now at the 101, for me, it's pretty simple. Christian McCaffrey. I'm not going to overthink it. He has been a top tier fantasy player the past couple of years. I know there were some injuries. I know people still have some weird concern with that. You can't predict injuries. You can't let some injuries concern you. So for me, McCaffrey makes the biggest sense for me. Otherwise, I think CeeDee Lamb's probably the other player I would have considered here, but I like Christian McCaffrey in really shoring up my running back one, who can absolutely be a stud for the future. Now, looking at this, again, you saw a lot of wide receivers going in that first round, because that is where everything's starting to go. I am surprised to see Jahmyr Gibbs as the second running back off the board. I think he's a very quality, great, again, without David Montgomery, I think he's going to have even higher. But with Montgomery there, his value is a little bit lower than number 2. I'd probably put him at, maybe running back 4 or 5, something like that. I think I would have taken Bijan. But with my pick here, I could go another running back like Travis Etienne, maybe Achane, Josh Jacobs. I want to shore up my wide receivers as well, because you got to have a top tier wide receiver. I actually am a big fan of Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is going to have a lot of value. I know he hasn't reached that top wide receiver 15 to be a wide receiver 1 quite yet, especially in a 10-man league. So it's a little bit of a reach here, but I'm okay with grabbing here because I do like his aspect as far as less targets anywhere else. He's going to get most of them. I think obviously Kamara is going to have some value there. Taysom Hill has some value, but really it's Chris Olave. So I like him there in that spot. Now, looking at the rest of this, I'm going to go running back again. I know I can grab Sam Laporta, and I love Sam Laporta. I think he's got strong value. But I'm going to grab another running back here. I'm going to grab Travis Etienne, because I think Etienne has strong value. He was a workhorse for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know Bigsby's there, but Bigsby has not really proven a lot this offseason so far. I still think Bigsby has some value, but that's more for the dynasty format. But Etienne, I think, is a great role in this one. So again, I shore up my running backs here. I've got Chris Olave at wide receiver. Not the biggest flex that I would love to say, but I'll still take him there. Now, I definitely am going to grab wide receivers here. So I'm going to grab Devonta Smith, because I think Devonta Smith is a premier receiver. I know he doesn't get enough targets because of A.J. Brown, and that's okay. He's still going to be a top wide receiver too, which is where I'm going to treat him as. Now, quarterback wide, had Lamar fallen one more spot, I would have grabbed him, because he's a premier rushing quarterback. Rushing quarterbacks will always go off the board pretty quickly, because those rushing ability is such a huge deal. Could you go quarterback here? I'm going to try to stretch it out. Don't necessarily say this route's the best way in the 101 spot. I think you're going to have to get your quarterback here. But for me, I'm going to stretch it out, see if I can get a top quarterback at the 6'10 spot. Or again, maybe stretch it into the 7th round. But I think right here, I want to grab my another running back or another wide receiver. I'm going to grab Cooper Kupp. I know people are sitting on him. I'm not really sure why. I guess the injury last year really scared people, and Puka Nacua showed up really well. But I think with Puka and Kupp both healthy and a healthier Stafford, I like Cooper Kupp a lot, especially as my wide receiver 3. I think that's a great spot there. So a couple more quarterbacks went off the board at Mahomes and Stroud. So that's great news for me. I can grab a quarterback here. I'm actually going to grab Kyle Pitts to fill my tight end 1, who I think can actually end up being tight end 1 with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback and a whole new offensive scheme. No more Arthur Smith. So I actually like that one. I'm going to take a stretch here and grab Anthony Richardson. Everyone is high on him. Now, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of Anthony Richardson when it comes to the actual quarterback spot. But his rushing ability, his red zone threat, a healthy Jonathan Taylor, great receiving core in A.D. Mitchell, Pittman, Josh Downs. I think this is going to be a really good opportunity to get Richardson in the 7th round, who is going to have strong value for this team. So I feel really good about that. Now I got my quarterbacks, and pretty much my whole starting lineup is ready to go. So now I've got to fill out depth. I'm not going to go kicker. I'm not going to go defense. It's all about depth at this point. So in the depth spot, I can go a wide receiver like Chris Godwin, who's back in the slot, who I think is going to be in a great role. I can go Nick Chubb, who a lot of people obviously nervous with his injuries, which I completely get. We'll see how he plays into this coming season. For me, I'm actually going to go Brock Bowers. I could treat him as a flex. I think he's going to be treated as a wide receiver in this offense for the Raiders. So I'm going to grab him there. And then I'm going to grab Deontay Johnson for the Panthers. I think Deontay Johnson is going to go into this season as a really top wide receiver. I think he finishes a high wide receiver 2 because I think he's going to get force-fed plenty of targets his way in this new offense for the Panthers. I think he's a great breath of fresh air for Bryce Young. I think it's only going to help Bryce Young because, again, Bryce Young needed that help. He did not have it last season. So I like that one there. Now, I've got 4 spots left on my depth, and then kicker and defense. So looking at this, I'm going to grab Devin Singletary because he is technically the starting running back for the Giants. We'll see how that plays out. So I'll take a starting running back in the 10th round. And then I'm going to grab another player that I think is going to have strong value is going to be Keon Coleman. I'm a big Keon Coleman fan. Obviously, he's going to potentially be the wide receiver 1 for the Buffalo Bills. We'll see how that plays out. He is rookie. There's a lot to learn. But I think as far as targets go, I think he can get plenty of them. He's only competing against Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir, who aren't true wide receiver 1s. Coleman at least has the body type and the build to be a wide receiver 1, so I think he might actually end up getting that. So I've got 2 more depth pieces, and then again, kicker and defense. Now I'm not going to go those places. I have seen people go kicker pretty early, especially like a Justin Tucker, who does have a lot of value in that. I'm actually going to end up grabbing another piece here. I like Chase Brown. I think there's going to be some mixture of him and Zach Moss for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think highly of Chase Brown. Now Chase Brown's value is a lot stronger in Dynasty than redraft, but I'll take him as a nice little, maybe a handcuff or something like that. You could go Jerome Ford as another nice handcuff. Now I'm going to grab a backup quarterback. I'm not huge on backup quarterbacks because there is a lot of depth at quarterback. I can grab somebody maybe in waivers or bye week fills, but I'll grab Justin Herbert here. I do have some concern with Herbert when it comes to redraft this season because I'm not sure how this offense is going to play out with Harbaugh coming in. He's more run-oriented. The receiving core is a lot different than what he's had before. But Herbert is a very talented quarterback. We'll see how things play out. So as my QB2, I'm okay with taking him there. Again, filling in bye weeks, maybe an injury. Hopefully Richardson stays healthy, but I'll take that. Now I've got to fill out the rest of my team, which is kicker and defense. I'm going to go kicker first because obviously who cares? I get the next swing as well. I'm going to go Jake Moody because I think that 49ers offense is going to score enough points where Moody's going to have value. And then now I'm going to go defense here. And looking at the defensive teams of here, I'm going to go the 49ers, keep it with that 49er theme there because the 49ers defense is fantastic. They get a healthy Hufanga. Obviously, losing, Bowman, the linebacker, was a big deal, but I like that one there. So this is my team as far as my 101 spot. I think it looks good. All right, so that is the mock draft for the 101 spot in a full PPR league. Let me know in the comments how you felt it went. Maybe you would have gone a different route, or if you thought the draft went really well for this particular team. Now, I'm not one who is crazy about the 101 spot. I'd rather be the 104 to 106, especially in a 10-man league. But I felt pretty good about this draft. I felt I got premier running backs. I got some good receivers with potential, good quarterback and Richardson late who is going to have rushing ability. So I feel really good about that one. Again, if you guys have any other formats or have any questions with redraft or anything like that, or of course, if you have dynasty questions that are still going on, hit me up in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'll check you guys out next time.